Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of King and Sharif. I'm King,
I'm Sharif.
and we are talking about the Diddy case again.
Part two.
Part two.
Ain't gonna be a part three, probably.
You think so?
I like talking about the Diddy
Why? Okay,
because it opens up the door to a lot of other stuff.
it does.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other night that we should probably, because of the Diddy trial, that we should talk about toxic relationships.
Toxic relationships.
Toxic relationship, not necessarily domestic violence, but
Just a bad relationship.
just a bad relationship. Because I can talk about that. Because I know.
That's cool.
Yeah, I know something about that.
Whatever you want to talk about,
All
I'm
right.
here for you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Start it off. Let's figure it out.
So, I'm a little bit more involved than I was the last time I was here.
So you've been watching a little
I
bit more.
have not been watching. I've been catching little clips.
And I stopped watching.
What?
Yeah, so it's total opposite. I stopped watching.
All right. Well, so the last thing that I saw was about the assistant. Capricorn, I think her name is. Is that her name, Harry? Capricorn? I'm not sure. Capricorn Clark or something like that.
Okay. When did she testify?
She's testifying, like, not
Right
now,
now?
but she's in, yeah. I think she was the last witness.
So she's his assistant.
She was his assistant. I don't think she is now. But she was talking about the incident that happened with Kid Cudi and the Porsche and the Molotov cocktail. You know
Right.
about that, right?
Right, yeah.
And so what she was talking about almost mirrors what the thing with Cassie. Like, she left and then came back to work for him again, even though she wasn't in the best situation, and she indirectly
So she did the same thing that Cassie did. She
yeah.
left the situation.
and then came back.
And I got a lot of bad feedback about that.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Why did you get a lot of bad feedback about that?
They told me I should understand how. My sisters told me I should understand how. What you was explaining, but Harry, had messed a little clip up or whatever, and it kind of flipped.
Harry was like, "What?"
Hip Hop Harry finally did something wrong. You were eloquently talking about your situation, then it flipped to some other shit.
Oh,
You didn't see that clip?
I did, and I thought maybe he chopped it up. I don't know why he chopped it. I thought maybe
It didn't
one
chop.
of us
No, he
burped or
didn't chop
something.
it up. If you know his work, he didn't chop it up like
Okay.
that. If you know his work, like we've been working together. I mean, you've been with us for a while now, but
Yeah.
I just know his work, and I was just like, what?
What happened? Yeah.
What happened with that? Like she was really getting ready to get into my ass about that. But the people, but some of the people I already knew what was happening, and they were just like I was just insensitive to her going back.
Yeah, because like I said last week, when you love somebody, it and you want to please them and you want to make them and you want to be with them, even though they're treating you like shit, you just deal with it until you don't.
Right.
You just deal with it until you don't. And apparently, based on what I heard from Capricorn Clark, he's a professional at being an abuser. I mean, he knows what he's doing. So he knows exactly who to target and what to say to people to keep them pulled in.
Right.
I saw one clip.
I haven't heard this testimony yet, so I gotta go back to it.
I heard. I hope this is true. But I think it was Touré talking about it on his YouTube channel.
Touré, yeah.
Yeah.
Old MTV guy.
Yeah. He was saying that the assistant was asking, she was crying to him. She was like, "Why can't I keep a man?" So he called Cassie Cassie was in the other room, and he said, "Come here, Cassie." And she came, of course, and he said, "Sit down, Cassie." And she sat down, and he said, "Get up, Cassie." And she got up, and he said, "Turn around, Cassie." And she turned around, and he said, "See, that's why you can't keep no man, because you bitches don't want to do the shit. You bitches won't do stuff like that. Like, you won't let somebody, lead you or control you." Whatever whatever it was.
P. Diddy a sick dude, man.
He's diabolical.
He's a sick dude, boy.
He is.
I wonder, does a man? I want $1 million, but would it change me like that?
$1 million? $1 million.
No, I'm gonna tell you
Because $1
something.
million ain't really that much money.
No, I meant $1 billion.
$1 billion. Oh, okay, I was about to say $1 million.
I apologize. I did say $1 million.
Yeah.
But on my behalf, so I've had people offering me $1 million. Started out 1.2, 2.2. You know what I'm saying? 2.2 been the last offer from my company.
You ain't take it?
No, but you know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that it's made me feel like a millionaire, and I'm not a millionaire. So I can see what that Forbes list do to people. Because what they just do is they look at your assets, and they say, okay, if this person sold out, this is what this person be worth. But in reality, you got $50,000 in the bank.
And so I get it. I get that what the idea of having that kind of money would do to a person. And you'll find out who a person is when somebody die and when you get some money. You know,
but all directions, though. You'll find out who the person is that's going to make the millions. Because even when I get pissed off, I'll say some shit. She's heard it before. I'll be like, man, I'm a fucking millionaire. But that's just what the accountant is telling you. Like, okay, you can cash out right now and you're a millionaire. You're a millionaire on paper. Right. Like, really, if you don't want this no more, we can get you $1 million. We can get you you're worth $1 million. Right. Being worth and cash is two different things. Right. So a lot of people don't understand that.
Right. If you're not liquid,
when you get into the business world, somebody say, hey, I'm worth $1 billion. Puffy probably has about 200-300 million. But he doesn't have $1 billion. But if he cashed out everything, then he probably would have $1 billion. But you cash out that, but you may not want to cash out that.
Okay, so I think having money is one thing, but I think if you just a shitty person fundamentally to your core, it just magnifies it.
No, but it does something to. I'm a humble person, but it did something to me. Just somebody telling me, I was just like. You know what I mean? Like, fuck these niggas. Like, they slept on me. They didn't listen to me.
And I understand. No, I get that.
My accountant is telling me, like, your company's worth $2.2 million. Like, if you wanted to take a lowball offer, you would be a millionaire. If you just took today, I can get you a check for 1.2.
Okay, understood.
And that just does something to you. Like, you walk around like, why am I putting up with this fucking shit? I'm a millionaire.
That's one thing. Yeah. Knowing your worth and kind of looking at people like, you know what, I ain't really got to deal with this is one thing. Yeah. But kidnapping people and sex trafficking and knocking the person that you're supposed to be in love with in the head because you don't like
but that's what I'm saying. That's what the point I'm getting to, like, if you're a billionaire, if Wally Sharif is acting like that over 2.2 million, what is Puffy doing at a 2.2 billion?
I think that
is he insane now?
I think Puffy was an asshole when he was a thousandaire.
Okay, there we go.
You
just think he's always been an asshole.
I think he's always been just a jerk, and the money magnified how much of a not nice person he is.
Right. But you think that he was an asshole when he had $100 in his pocket. Okay, I got you.
It's all over him.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's all over him.
Make a good point. I can see that.
You remember when we were talking about I forget what episode we were on. You said that even if you didn't have no money in your pocket and nobody would be able to tell that you didn't have no money in your pocket because people can tell. Nobody wants to do business with somebody that doesn't have any money. So I think he's always had this stink on him. Honestly.
Yeah, when I didn't have any money in my pocket, the only people that knew that was my sister, my little brother. Yeah. And like maybe a couple niggas in the hood. But like when I walked somewhere, if I walked in a store, if I had $10, I'd probably put like 10 bags of chips on the table. It was.
Was you gonna steal the people chips?
No, chips was like 90 cents. So you know what I mean, like 50 cents. So you was gonna spend
all your money trying to.
Man, I just it's just that mentality. I would put 10 bags of chips up there, even if they was 50 cents. I just thought big.
So I will say that you can't move you can't move in a space of lack. when you're making money.
You're making money.
Even when you get low on your money and you're trying to figure out what am I gonna do, you can't have that lack mindset.
Nah. My mama taught me that.
Yeah.
My mama sewed alligators on our shirt. That shit Biggie talking about, my mama did it. My mama could sew. So my mama and my grandmama could really, really, really sew. They were some really good seamstresses. I'm trying to get my, once again, the people are talking about how educated you are, how dumb I sound.
Wally does not sound dumb. He
gotta
authentic.
Pronounce his words better.
He is authentic.
That was in the comments. He needs to pronounce his words better. I saw that.
You're the yin to my yang.
Yeah.
You're the yin to my yang.
I like the comments. It makes me. I like.
Yeah.
I could take constructive criticism. I could take constructive criticism. There we go.
You need something else to drink.
I graduated.
I did too, barely, but I graduated too.
Well, that's another episode. I mean, we already discussed that.
Barely graduated. Okay.
The Puffy thing now, let me tell you why I stopped watching it.
Okay. You stopped watching it? It got to be too much for you?
He rubbed the stuff on the man nipples, man. It got me. I was like, I'm done with this. And he's sitting over there, and his defense is admitting that he's that kind of person. What? Oh, we got an audience. We got someone in the audience. You don't see nothing wrong with that man rubbing a little milk on the other man? Okay, I'm gone.
You go to a big in that house, party.
Yeah, but that's wild.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of wild.
No.
I mean, somebody of Puffy stature, and this man, they brought this man in.
Yeah, you got to run that down to me because I don't.
He brought this man in from like Miami or somewhere that they met this big buff dude, stripper dude, one of them diamond boys or whatever.
Like a black diamond?
You know, the black diamond niggas. You
I remember them days.
You know,
at the Comedy House.
Comedy House, yeah, the black diamond niggas. They brought this man in, the black diamond nigga from Miami, to lay pipe on your woman while you watch. Okay, now that's too much for me there. But then this man let his milk on this woman. Okay, now I probably would have walked out the door on that one. But
no,
then,
you wouldn't have if you were in that situation and that's what you wanted. You wouldn't have walked out, but go ahead.
But then this man, who is always been some kind of tough, I've always thought of Puff as the nigga that took out Tupac. Like, I always thought him as a tough, mafia type, laid back nigga that was but he was cold and blooded. Well, because Suge Knight had been screaming that shit. Hey, y'all think y'all Puff Daddy is a motherfucker and some nigga that just want to dance? This nigga's a gangster. Even Suge Knight called him a gangster, and Suge Knight is a gangster.
Suge Knight, yeah.
So I was just like, man, like niggas has been saying, y'all don't know Puff. Puff is a gangster. Everybody has been saying that Puff Daddy is a gangster.
You know who else the rumor has it as a gangster too?
Who?
MC Hammer.
Yeah, I heard that.
Have you heard that?
Suge Knight even said that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, I'm sorry.
If it come out Suge my mouth, I believe it because I don't take Suge as a liar. He tell on himself.
Yeah,
So,
I think he's a truth teller. I mean,
think all these little the best interviews that I've heard has been them damn prison interviews with Nick Cannon and Suge Knight. Mm-hmm. That's the damn best podcast. Suge Knight is like he ain't snitching. He just saying like, yo, y'all is fooled by the internet. Like y'all really think Puff is a good guy? Like, yo, Puff hit my man. I hit his man. He hit another nigga. Like Puff is like that dude.
Well, wait. So do you think? So now that you're saying that, I don't think Puff's hands are dirty. I think he get other people to do his stuff for him.
And then his hands are dirty.
You think his hands dirty?
Hey, shit. Whether it come from you doing it or the money, it still got done.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it in the streets. You know what I mean? Like, hey, whether you made a call or whether you did it yourself, it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It went down.
Well, and
so,
that goes back to what
yeah.
I said on last episode, that there has always seemed to be something off about him. Like he's just never been.
The Shine shit had me crazy because everybody knew that Puffy bucked the nigga, right? And Shine took the charge, right? But then he switched lawyers. You know what I mean? Like, okay, nigga, we in this together, we keep the same lawyer. You know what I mean? If you got $1 million lawyer, don't give me the $20,000 lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Because it's lawyers that'll take a murder case. You can go, Ty Rutherford is probably the best murder lawyer in Columbia, South Carolina.
You think so? You don't think Swirling? Because you know
Swirling is good.
Swirling can get you out of some shit now.
But
he ain't gonna take no $20,000 from you now.
Swirling probably what, 10 G's? Less. You think he
Swirling?
less?
Jack? Nah, he ain't less.
Ty Rutherford, if I ain't mistaken, he the senator, right?
He's a representative.
Yeah, the representative, right? So he got to be the toughest one. He in the room with them niggas.
No, I didn't say he wasn't in the room.
He in the room.
I didn't say he wasn't in the room.
In the
I'm
room.
just saying. You know.
I'm not supposed to, as a bondsman, I'm not supposed to give advice on lawyers. That's against the law.
What you doing?
I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, Ty Rutherford is like, I've hired him before.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah,
so listen,
Stanley Myers, before he passed, Stanley Myers was the drug lawyer.
We're trying to keep you out of trouble with the Bells people.
No, man. They good. They already on my head. They good. But my thing with the Puffy is it's just the power.
I do think that people get drunk off of power.
It's the power, man. And you can get conflicted with that because I've gotten conflicted with that. But even me and my manager have been arguing. I done told her, man, nigga, I'm worth $1 million. What the fuck these motherfuckers sitting here talking about? And then you have a humbling experience, and then it lets you know, hey, what you worth and what you got is two different things. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But a lot of people don't understand that. Yeah, you could sell it, but you ain't sold it. So you know what I mean? It's not yours.
Anything can change.
The same way Kanye went from $2 billion to $400 million because he made the Jewish comment. He was worth. If he would have ran his contract out with Adidas, he was worth $2 billion. But then when Adidas dropped him, he went down to $400 million because now they've dropped your contract. Your contract was worth 1.6, but you didn't fulfill your contract. So that's that's when you start getting in the big business. That's how the net worth and what you worth and how. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So us being live old. I'm saying we haven't really gotten to that stature.
Right.
But going out and people knowing who we are, knowing our drinks, knowing our faces, knowing that can strike a sense of power. And you nowhere near a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? You got people, hey, what can I do for you? Can I open your door? Can I do this? Can I do that? So what would separate, that moment to say like, oh no, let's not do this.
That's when.
Trying to make it
so
there,
when that happens,
there, then what?
When that happens, before you get to that point, you have to figure out who you are.
There you go.
You got to figure out who you are, and you got to stay grounded. And most importantly, when you get into a situation where you know that you're getting ready to take off, you've got to have good people around you. And that's not even that. That goes for people that don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? Just got talent, right? You have to have good people around you. You can't have yes men around you. You can't have people that's just going to agree to go along to get along, right?
Right.
You got to have somebody to tell you, you can't do that. You're not. What are you doing? And you got to have somebody around you that you really listen to. So before you get to that point, you have to have a solid team. Because if I ever,
gotta have a
team. I'm gonna tell you,
I'm a loner, but I realize you gotta have a team,
right?
You gotta have a team.
And I think you and I have a good enough of a relationship where if you doing some crazy something,
we know each other 20 years. Shit.
What are you doing?
You could tell me anything.
Yeah. And I have friends that see me at the highest of highs and see me at the sorry Harry, see me at the lowest of lows, right? And when I started getting a little cocky, I had a couple of friends that was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you doing good, but you need to.
I got cocky on Live Oak. Like, I can honestly believe. Like, so Live Oak Entertainment has been mine. It's the street I grew up on. So when my stepson died and I took over the business or whatever, well, when I didn't take over the business, I started the business. So when I started the business and stuff, it was just supposed to be me and P Rose, like another rap, you know P Rose. So we was just in it together, like, okay, whatever we do, we gonna bring up some artists. Unfortunately, he got a lot of stuff going on and stuff like that, so it kind of fell on me. And then after about 2-3 years of just trusting other people, no disrespect to them, they just my vision and their vision was just two different visions. I said, well, I needed a manager or whatever. But then when things got hard, I just let them know, like, I was just like, man, this shit ain't making no money. Like, I make money every day. Like, this ain't making no money. Why do I gotta go through this? And that was disrespectful because I was being arrogant. I had to learn my, because really I'm in the same boat as them. We all at the bottom growing up. But just because I got another company that's worth this, we don't have the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, being worth something, and I just said this, 20 minutes ago, being worth something and actually having the money is two different things. Mm-hmm. Once you get in corporate America, they start saying what you're worth. Mm-hmm. What's your worth? Mm-hmm. What's this? What's that? What's your resume? What's this? Okay, that's corporate America talk. What's your resume? What's your worth? What's your company? What's your evaluation? Mm-hmm. I have somebody in my office every 6 months evaluating myself. I just had somebody just send me, you was right there. Somebody just sent me an email today telling me they did an audit on my business. So anytime they come do an evaluation, once they give you the number, they come and do an audit right behind it. Mm-hmm. You got to be ready for it because they're gonna do an audit. They want you to show you 10 customers. They're gonna pick the customers. They want to show you 10 customers. This happened. This happened. This happened. This happened. This happened. And that's how much they. So if you do say, hey, I take the $1.2 million, $1.3 million. If somebody want to buy my book, if this is what my book's worth, they just want to make sure it's right. Mm-hmm. They're evaluating. Which is
understandable. It's
right. Business. It's business. These, I deal with bankers surety. They just like they trying to pick my worth, I have looked at their worth. Mm-hmm. Their worth is $17 billion. You know what I'm saying? They're not no chumps in this game. So what they do is they like. Have you ever seen the movie with Jamie Foxx where he was representing the funeral home owner and all these companies was trying to buy all these funeral homes and he wouldn't sell and the white dude wouldn't sell? Mm-mm. You got to look at that. I'll find you the name of the movie. I'm going to send it to you. But that explains business and how business works all the way around. I can't think of the name of the movie right now because I had a couple of drinks, and even if I didn't have a couple of drinks, I wouldn't remember. But it's just like, it's just like, you can't get too high on what you worth because that could change. Yeah. And I think Puffy got, he got high off of what he was worth and his power and everything like that, but it's going to get all taken away from him.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if he gets convicted, if he doesn't beat this, like, all that money that he was worth is gone. And then the money that he did actually have, all of these people are going to sue him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And some people that he never did anything to is going to sue him just because they got a picture with him. Mm. He'd be lucky to come out with $100 million, but he got 6-7 kids. Mm. You know what I mean? So really your legacy is leaving behind $2 million. You have no empire. You have nobody to give Bad Boy to. If you get Bad Boy's dead, you can't give it to your sons no more.
It's tainted.
It's tainted. Even if they start a company, oh, you Puffy son, we don't want to deal with you. Because we know that even though we know you got the education, you got the experience, you know what I'm saying? You've been around this game. Mm-hmm. We know that if you get us $100 million, we'll be in a lawsuit for $200 million because of your name, and somebody's gonna go after you. Like, he ruined his whole family.
Yeah,
he ruined his whole family all off of power. And I know he's a freak. You know what I mean? He's a really nasty guy. But you know what I mean? There's a lot of freaks in the world. What I'm more disappointed in is that
There's a lot of freaks in the world,
right.
But they're not trying to hurt nobody.
I'm a freak. No man could ever. If you tell me something, you want to rub your milk on my titty, nigga, you gone. I'm in prison. You're dead.
But that's because you don't like that. What's your 1% ass?
Well, this nigga shitted on the girl too and pissed on her.
Okay, you don't like that. Again, that's another 25% of people that like that.
Shit, goddamn.
I'll tell you now, don't come to my goddamn mansion acting scared. Cause I'm going down to my shit.
She did it.
After 11,
She did it. Like, you be like, all right, now it's 11 o'clock.
no.
Yeah.
You ain't got to go home. But if you ain't with it, you got to get the hell out of here.
I don't know. I got sisters. I couldn't even pee on a woman. I just be I'll be thinking about my sisters
Let's
before I
sidebar
pee
for a
on a
minute.
woman.
So the people told you can get 1.2, and
She's stuck on that.
I'm just trying.
No, my company's worth 2 point. Well, but I can show you.
Okay, well, that makes
my
what
last evaluation is 2.2.
I don't care about that. Well, that makes what I'm getting ready to say even better. I still didn't get my toes done for my birthday.
Well, no, but then we go back to that. That's what they offering me. Well, they ain't even offering me 2.2 million. They just saying, hey, these larger
I didn't have a good birthday.
No,
because I didn't get my toes
Can
done.
I tell you this? They saying that a larger bond company will buy.
Make no promises.
Will
to me.
buy my book. Even at a low ball price, they would buy my book for half of what it's worth. So you talking 1.1, 1.2 million plus a little bit of cash.
So you don't want to take that and ride off into the sunset?
No, and then the thing about it is
and start something else.
Nah, I just done slaved so long, man. I don't mind being broke. I done slaved so long. Why now? But you know who humbled me though? Her. She humbled me, bro.
I can see that.
She humbled me.
I can see it.
My wife ain't gonna humble me. My wife is just, hey, let's ride out to the sunset. But then you got people that say, hey, we can really build something. And then if I cash out, they got nothing. So I'm not.
Well, I would hope that you would take care of the people that took
But
care
no,
of you.
1.2 million ain't enough for my grandchild, to live.
Yeah.
For me to live,
Yeah.
because you ain't getting no Social Security behind that motherfucker. It's over.
No.
You know what I'm saying? For my grandchild to live, for me to live, for my wife to live. You know what I mean? For her children to live. By the time I come to them, it's gonna look real small. You're talking 20, maybe 50. I thought about all of this. You talking 20, 30 grand. Hey, well, I give you, hey, y'all carry on. They can't do nothing with that.
So what do you think? What do you think the outcome of this is going to be?
With Puff?
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to.
Hey, it don't matter whether he guilty or not guilty. Whether he walk out the courtroom or walk into a jail cell, he done. Mm-hmm. He's ruined his. I don't. You know what I mean? Even though I care about money and I like money, but I've never seen money. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I never
level.
you know, I ain't got $200,000 in my bank account. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know all of this stuff that they feel. I don't have that kind of feeling. I just know I just got a dream of how it feel. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, you know, if the nigga give me this, I got this. You know what I mean? And what am I gonna do with it? But it's not reality because it's not in my hand. Mm-hmm. But Puffy, you know what I mean? What he does have, he's ruined it. Like he has, like, you know what I mean? You could die. You know, when people die, you could die with honor or you can die dishonored. He's gonna die as a person that's gonna say, Music Mogul died today, blah blah blah. He was this. Like it's not gonna be anything good that they say behind that. Like when I pass away, I would like for people to, you know what I mean, even if it's not family or whatever, I would like the people to say, oh, yo, he cared. He gave. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my wife to be at my funeral and damn 10 other women is there crying. Like, that's dishonoring that. And that's dishonoring death.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even if I've made a mistake before or I make a mistake now, It ain't gonna be 10 women in there crying over me and 10 women at my weight, you know what I mean, claiming me in front of my wife. That's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. So you can either be you can be honorable or you can be dishonorable. Puffy would never ever be able to be honorable again. And he's a 50-something-year-old man. Like, he probably got 30, 40 years left in life. He would never, it's not enough more time for him to be honorable.
I think even before this happened, his legacy was tainted.
Even before this happened?
Yeah.
I always loved him before this happened.
Yeah.
I looked up to him before this happened. The thing that, I mean, I kind of knew, I kind of knew he was like weird, but I didn't know he was that weird. I promise you, it was a shock to me when they started coming out with all this stuff. It wasn't a shock to me for R. Kelly. It was definitely, because
well, so the thing with R. Kelly though, R. Kelly told us in his songs, like, he let us know what was going on.
And I wasn't listening to him. Like that.
Yeah, because it was a bop, right?
Yeah, it was a bop. It was talent. If you love music, you gotta love R. Kelly.
I can't take that away from him. I cannot take that away from him. The man is cold.
From the instruments to the vocals to the stories.
Yeah, he is. Like, he really is.
Trapped in the Closet was genius.
It was. However.
Yeah, but he's deep.
He's damn pervert.
The girl he had trapped in the closet.
Right.
Could have been 13, so you know.
She probably was 13 or 12.
That makes a big difference in how you listening to the music.
I mean, we gotta okay, but we gotta blame the man too now. Blame the mom and daddy.
Yeah.
But we also
I was lying about my age. So you can't blame the man for that. I'm gonna blame my dad and mama, because why the hell she ain't making sure that my ass ain't out here lying and no more.
That nigga got eyes though.
Yeah, I can't put it all.
Like, you know what I mean? When I was in college, like, so when I was in college, Denmark Tech, Voorhees, I went to both. And we was just bored as fuck in Denmark. So we used to go through town, like riding around, smoking, drinking. And we'll see a girl riding around, hey, you know, she tell you, hey, I'm 15, 16. Well, actually, we're 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. So it's still a difference, but you know what I mean? It's like, but we wouldn't touch them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
a real man that's not a pedophile is not going to.
No, you're not going to mess with a girl in high school and you're in college. But it is girls that do tell you that they this age and they that age, and you shouldn't be faulted for that. But I think at the R. Kelly age, like, when he was in his 30s, 40s, I think in my 30s and 40s, like, I'm in my 40s, like, I could tell a girl that's 18 and a girl, because I got daughters. So I could tell a girl I seen them develop. I can tell a girl that's not fully developed from a girl that's a grown ass woman. But, like, I mean, that's even the way they conversate is like, now you got some girls out there that probably could pull it off, but it's very rare that you could slip one of them through my camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, hey, she too young, bro. Like, she even talking young. She look young. Yeah. She got acne, you know what I mean? She got, I got acne. No, she just going through the phases that teenage girls go through. Yeah. She talking shit about her parents, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? She niggas is looking for her, like so, it's crazy. So, how much did they say at the beginning of the trial how long it was projected to last? No, but I heard on the Breakfast Club that they probably got about 2 more weeks of prosecution, and defense probably got maybe 2 weeks. So we talking about a month. You think Diddy is going to testify? He better not. I mean, well, most lawyers gonna tell their defendant not to testify. I don't think it can help him. They'll make him look like a monster. Understand? He is a monster. They'll make him look worse than a monster. Yeah. Then. My thing is with the Diddy thing, man, is I think Diddy's gonna have a hung jury. They'll have to get, yeah. I don't think you can find 12 after Cassie testimony. I don't think you can find, and we haven't even heard the defense side of it. Yeah. He hadn't even brought all the people that's gonna say Cassie was a pimp. You know what I'm saying? Cassie was a pimp?
Or Cassie was a pimp?
Cassie was a pimp. Basically, she
Explain.
had niggas working for her to have, it's not only people that was having sex with her. Her and Diddy was hiring people to just have sex and they watch.
Oh.
That part ain't even came out yet. She flew the escorts out. She had them in a Rolodex and all kind of stuff. It's going to be hard for it to get to it. If I was on the jury, I would say Diddy is guilty. But the charges is racketeering. Racketeering meaning that you running a criminal enterprise. I don't think he was running a criminal enterprise. I think he had one girl that was willing to do anything that he wanted to do, whether she was mentally fucked up or not, or how horrific this stuff sound. I don't know, man. I think he's guilty, but I could if they say beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's what that's what the defense attorney's gonna say. But beyond a reasonable doubt, do you think that he's guilty? Beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't know.
And so
I don't know.
It's
I
funny
can't
that
call
you say
that
that because I sat on a jury in Richland County that it was a sexual exploitation of a minor.
That's crazy.
It was a crazy case, and we sat on the jury for like a week. Like we were there. And we heard all the details, and everybody kind of already knew that he did it. But when you listen to the instructions that the judge gave to us,
wasn't sure.
We couldn't convict him on everything because there were certain parts of the case that,
and that's what you're supposed to listen to.
It was reasonable doubt.
The judge is gonna always say if it's any reasonable doubt, you can't do it. So
well, and here's the thing: if his lawyer had put on a better case, he would have gotten off.
But y'all found him guilty.
Well, because the state really didn't put on the best case, and then his lawyer really didn't put on the best case either.
So you had to go with y'all felt.
So we had to go with what the evidence showed, but there was reasonable doubt in certain aspects. So now that you're saying that, it might be a hung jury.
No, it's definitely reasonable doubt.
But they definitely can't let him back. I mean, can't let him back on the street. They can't reach hung jury.
Shit, he gone. If they have
if it's a hung jury,
if they have a hung jury,
then
they have to grant him bond.
Yeah.
Because if it's a hung jury, that means that the prosecution can retry him. Yeah. So now, it's a federal prosecution because federal got all the money. If it was state probably wouldn't even touch it no more.
Yeah.
But it being federal probably gonna come after him again. Mm-hmm. But now in federal law, if he has a hung jury, he's granted a bond, and he can pay any bond that they give him. Sure. Yeah. So you know what I mean. He's gonna get out if he has a hung jury. He's gonna get out of jail. And then his case may be 2-3 years more down the road.
The thing is, if it is a hung jury and they give him bond and they try this case again, them witnesses,
it's over.
It's over.
It hurts the prosecution. The only time really the prosecution really goes back after you after a hung jury is they just got a lot of pride, or they feel like, oh, we made a mistake. If we just fix that mistake, we could convict them.
I think
they really confident in the evidence.
Yeah, and so I think because of if it does end up with a hung jury and he's retried, it's gonna be because there's been so much media uproar about it. Like, I mean, CBS is talking about it, CNN's talking about it. So of course they're gonna try the case again. It might be 2 or 3 years down the road, but I think they'll try it again.
Yeah.
If that happens.
And these taxpayers' money, man.
Well,
Well, the federal are not so much so, but I don't know, man. I just think if you got a hung jury, just let it go. They've all sued him for money.
Yeah.
He's damaged. I doubt anybody else will go to a Diddy party. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like,
that man ain't gotta have no money for no Diddy party.
I think he'd be ruined enough, like, man. Like Tupac said, man. Tupac said something one time that really stuck in my mind for life. And even though he said it 20-something years ago, he said you ain't gotta be in jail to be doing time. So you know what I mean? He could be on the streets, but be doing some of the hardest time mentally. Yeah. I mean, this is a man that really King Kong.
Yeah.
In his eyes,
Yeah.
he was, he was bigger than the.
Bigger than the program.
He was bigger than the Pope.
He's bigger than the program. At least
He's bigger than the program. You know what I mean? So, like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, man. I just hate that this. I mean, I just hate that this is a black man that people looked up to over the years, and like he's been discredited. Like Bill Cosby had one of the best sitcoms ever. It was positive. It wasn't a black man. No disrespect to Fred Sanford, but it wasn't a black man, poor black man in the junkyard. It wasn't the Jeffersons. The Jeffersons and Bill Cosby, but even the Jeffersons, he started out poor. When you saw Bill Cosby, he was a doctor. His wife was a lawyer. A lawyer, you know what I'm saying? They kids, they lived in a 2-story, fucking brownstone looking shit, like some expensive shit.
So, but the character he played and who he was as a person, you got to separate the two. It doesn't negate the fact that he had good writers and he got cast for a good show. But doesn't negate the fact that he did positive. It was positive.
And then he spent it off after him.
Different world.
He spent it out to a different world where he was teaching like black kids that college is cool. You know what I mean? Like you should want to go to an HBCU. Like you should want to go to college. Like you can have a good life.
But was he thinking about that when he was slipping them girls a Mickey though? I mean,
but this is what I'm saying. Like we keep. I don't think it's planned, but it's just like, man, like the black people that we look up to, man, and they like dead or they been discredited. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the media. It's not.
You think it's a conspiracy?
No, I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think they did some of this shit to themselves, but just the fact that they did it is being, magnetized. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it's in bold letters. Like this nigga's a freak. This nigga's a slipping Mickeys. Like they Smokey Robinson, Motown. Lord. Motown is done.
Smokey Robinson. I was so
Smokey got caught up.
But, okay, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
What you're saying is not new. It's common knowledge. So if you know that you're going to be more under scrutiny if you're a successful black person, don't do stupid shit.
Exactly. No, I agree with that. If you're R. Kelly and you're the most talented musician in the world, don't go looking for little girls. Even though I think when you start looking for little girls, that is more of a sickness than it is.
Yeah, sometimes you can't control that.
Yeah, that's more. It's more of a you just.
And think about the fact that it's R. Kelly. It's R. Kelly and he's on a worldwide stage. Think about all the people that aren't famous.
Right.
That got that demon.
Have you ever thought about it though? The one I feel like out of all the sitcoms, except for maybe Martin, the Cosby Show was probably the most important sitcom in Black American.
Why do you think Martin was important? Martin and Gina.
Because Martin was just funny as fuck.
It was funny,
and then when you get at the bus stop in the morning,
was toxic as hell.
Yeah, I like Martin though.
I liked it
funny,
too,
though.
but
it wasn't about proving anything. You know what I mean? It didn't have an angle. You know what I mean? It was just real raw and black. I like Martin, and it was funny. At the same time, it was funny. Like he had some points and shit in that shit.
He did.
But it was just like funny. Like my house and kids, my wife and kids. Like shit is just funny.
It was
like everybody loves Chris. They depicted the black people struggling and shit. But what they didn't realize is that in I Love Chris, everybody hates Chris.
Rochelle's husband had 2 jobs.
Yeah,
what
but
you mean?
Even though he was poor, but they didn't get the other part of it. They owned the brownstone that they was renting out. Real estate. Right. Ownership.
Okay.
Come on.
So it wasn't all bad.
You didn't catch any of that? Like these some black people on TV, like they're important.
They are.
They're important. Like I just remember when I was young and I watched Archie Bunker like just diss George Jefferson left or right.
Until
Like,
he couldn't anymore.
like he was just killing.
He moved it on up.
Man, he was killing George, and then next day, Georgia, did they come out with the spinoff, and George, the cleaners made it.
Yeah.
George is at the high rise.
Yeah.
He's in New York, like Manhattan, top high rise. Like, come on, man, that's important to black people, man. As much as I love Sanford and Son, we don't need to see the junk man struggling, and we didn't need.
Sanford and Son is funny though.
Sanford and Son is funny as hell.
It was
and Red Fox is probably one of the best comedians that ever lived.
Yeah.
But I don't think it did anything to make black people more, and I don't think Good Times did anything to make black people. Yeah. Good Times was funny as hell. I mean, we loved them, but they never got out of the ghetto.
Yeah.
So it was basically
that was their choice. Though.
It was basically, hey, look here, black people. CBS is pointing this out because I think that was a CBS or NBC show. NBC or CBS, whoever came out with it, doesn't matter. It was like a mental thing to black kids, black people. Hey, you know what I'm saying? No matter how hard you try, it's going to be something that's going to bring you down. Like, they was about to get out the ghetto like 3-4 times or 5 times throughout 7-8 seasons, and something happened. Even the black father died, and the mother had to, come on, that's just not what we need to see. Now, the Bill Cosby shit, where you got a doctor, lawyer, kids isn't going to college, you know what I'm saying? Even the bad kid, the one that didn't want to do what the parents say, wound up at Hillman. You know what I'm saying? Which was Hillman, they say Hillman because they couldn't say Morehouse. Mm-hmm. But that was Morehouse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's what that was. Morehouse. So, you know what I mean? So, I mean, come on, Morehouse is fucking, to me, is Harvard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come out of Morehouse, you can get any job you want.
Speaking of Harvard, this is so far off the subject. Speaking of Harvard is on Donald Trump's neck. They're on his neck. But anyway, that's another episode. So listen. So
Donald Trump let out Larry Hoover, man. He got the streets back.
Yeah, he
know how to get the black people like, Donald Trump, we love you.
He's doing a lot of stuff.
Come on, man. Larry Hoover's 70 years old.
He is.
What can he do now? He can't run a game.
He can't.
Even
so,
anyway.
Because we still have at least 2 or 3 weeks of the Diddy trial left, let's take a break from Diddy next episode.
Okay, I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Really?
This is your show. I'm just here just taking up time.
I just need my toes done. I'm just saying. But anyway, we'll talk about that after we get off this live. Or after we get I need my toes done because I'm making a trip next week.
Where you going?
I'm going to Dallas.
Oh, I heard that.
Anyway, so
going to the man that's trying to take you away from us. Harry, how you feel about that? You got a good show, man. We doing 5, 6 to 1,000.
Listen.
Here comes some man, a swoop our lady.
Relocating is not going to stop this show. Okay?
Nah, that's cool.
All right, so next episode, we're going to talk about toxic relationships because I think the Diddy trial has opened up a lot of discourse about relationships and what's cool, what you're cool with, what you're not cool with. So we're not talking about divorce, marriage. We're talking about
just pissing on people. Let's just be real. We're talking about just pissing on people.
And with that,
this man pissing and shitting on people and getting rubbed on.
And with
getting milk rubbed on them.
And with that,
Diddy, you a nasty motherfucker.
We thank you for joining us.
Diddy, you nasty. I'm screaming all the way to where he at, New York, Brooklyn. Diddy, you nasty as hell. You sitting in there watching these people have sex in a mask. What is wrong with you?
And with that concludes this episode of King and Sharif. I'm King.
I'm Sharif.
You a dumbass. Who you are. Thank you for joining us. We'll see y'all next time.
My mama love this show.